Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back here with another album review, this time for a newer release. Now, I know I said before that I was going to do a rant video, but I'm going to kind of put that on hold for now. I don't know, but I'll, keep it in my library, so, for editing, or not editing, but uploading whenever. So today, I'm going to be reviewing the new album by Sevendust. Now, Sevendust is a band that I'm not really too familiar with, but I just know that they're like hard rock, alternative metal type stuff. So let's get into this review. The album is called All I See Is War, and before I get into this review, I apologize about the random noises. It's been kind of stormy out here lately. Alright, so yeah, this is Sevendust, All I See Is War. Now, the first track is entitled Dirty, I think. Now, this here is, this is a very interesting song to me, and a very interesting choice as a single. Now, when I first heard this song, I was like, wait a minute, this song sounds familiar. The opening to the song actually reminds me of the song God Forsaken by Demon Hunter. That's, the opening, like that build-up, that opening, it reminded me so much of that. And that's just one of the things that kind of caught me off guard. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good song, and I can see why they chose it as a single. Medicate is one that I do want to mention. This one's one of my favorites. It's got a very nice flow to it. And it's got like these softer parts, because it's more like aggressive and heavy throughout the album. But there are some parts in this album, like Medicated, where it still has the intensity, but it also has atmosphere, and it can slow things down. And that's usually one of the things I like when it comes to like alternative metal, hard rock bands. Unforgiven's another pretty good one, and no, this is not like Unforgiven Part 4 by Metallica. No, this is Sevendust we're talking about. This is a pretty good song too, and I like the flow that this has going for it. It's got the great aggression, great instrumentation, and just there's not really much to complain about. Sickness is another good one. Now this also has kind of like a one where it does have some aggression, but it doesn't have the same aggression as a lot of the tracks on this album. But it has a unique flow to it, and it has it just sets things up very well, and I really like the flow to this one as well. The instrumentation and the vocals are just excellent, and the guitars is something that I did want to bring up about that song. I really like the guitar work in that song. Cheers is another pretty good one. I also would consider my favorites. And Moments is another one that I do like a little bit. It kind of gives me a vibe of other bands too, that other bands have done. And this is a very enjoyable track. I do have to complain about the song Non-Original, because this song here, I feel like this is where the album starts to get a little weaker, in my opinion. Not Original kind of reminds me of like New In Flames or something. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and we all know how I feel about the New In Flames. Not very good. And I do have to talk about Life Deceives You a little bit, only because it reminds me too much of 3 Days Grace. And not that I don't like 3 Days Grace, because I do think 3 Days Grace is a fairly good band, but I don't know. I just prefer, bands. I think 3 Days Grace kind of has, a sound that's kind of outdated, like, as far as their lyrical content and their overall sound. And I don't know. Sevendust, I don't think was trying to, copy 3 Days Grace or anything, with that song, but, it is what it is. It's there. And The Truth is the closing track. In my opinion, not a very good choice for a closing track, but it's still not too bad of a song. It's got, this song really brings back the aggression that was in throughout the rest of the album, and it's, I know fans would really like that, and maybe it works for some people as an album closer, but for me, not too much. So yeah, As you guys can tell, I'm not really too familiar with Sevendust's previous albums, but this is like really the first album I've really ever heard from them. And I was pleasantly surprised of how much I enjoyed this album. I think this album's I think it's going to do very well. I mean, I can actually see myself coming back to some of these songs. Like Medicated, Unforgiven, Sickness, Moments, I think is another good one. These are just really outstanding tracks. And yeah, I think this is a really good album. It's one of the best of the year so far. I think it might be top 5 material so far. So overall, I'm going to have to give All I See Is War by Sevendust an 8 out of 10, which is a very good score. It's not a perfect score, but it's still a good score, and by all means, this is not a perfect album, but I do enjoy it. I think it's very good. And this is coming from someone who's never really listened to much of this band before. So if you guys have listened to this album, what do you guys think of it? I think it's a good one. So thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're not already, and take care.